Hey everyone, welcome back to the MTG Paper Legacy Thursday Night Mod Fight. Chaotic Bear here, back with Anne for round 3.
Hi.
We have Mr. Jack Dex on our left here. He's our final mod, going to try to bring us to a 1-2. We want to save a blowout. He's going to be playing Death in Texas against our participant Argon Platypus on Jund.
Yeah, and this Jund deck is kind of funky stuff, but I think it's funky stuff that Argon's pretty familiar with.
Yep, I have been beaten into the ground by this very player in this very deck before.
So I think that was them saying they both kept on 7.
Oh, okay, thank you. Yeah, Mr. Jack Dex kept a hand, looks like, with no turn 1 play, but must be good.
That's okay on Death and Taxes. Yeah, you'd like to put a vial into play. You'd like to maybe get a mum set up, but if you've got 10-2 Thalia,
Yep, which we see here, is right? That's the secret lair?
I think so, yeah.
So.
And then there's all sorts of turn 3 follow-ups that would have you keeping.
Yep.
I don't know if that is our version of Beyond stream or the whole stream.
I'm not sure. I'm gonna try to get with Mr. Jack Dex here. Oh, never mind. We're back.
Okay. Again, it looks like he's landed a Caracas there.
Yep. So Argon playing around Wasteland, just getting, looks like basic forest and badlands. Maybe playing around is the wrong word. He would have gotten 2 basics, but
yeah. I mean, he's got to get the stuff that he needs to play the cards in hand, so it's sort of splitting the difference.
Yeah. Yeah, I know there's definitely some tension there with these decks with a greedy mana base. Although he's only running 3 colors, I guess.
It's not especially greedy at all. He's not, he's playing 3 colors, but he's not playing any wastelands, any utility lands of any sort. So it's just standard 3 color mana base.
Yeah,
there's maybe borderline greedy is Grove of the Burn Willows, which can't be fetched at all.
Yeah, he has a lot of double mana casting spells, or casting cost spells as well to cast, so like Hymn to Torak and Abrupt Decay and everything.
Yeah, but he's obviously not Hymn to Toraking right now.
Certainly not. So we let Mr. Jack Dex know that the match was paused and they're getting restarted here. Looks like we're going to start with a swing for 2 Athalia.
Yep. Slightly wondering why Argon fetched at that point when he didn't have a 2 mana play.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Because you can fetch at any time, so holding up a fetch doesn't say I don't have Lightning Bolt, I don't have Abrupt Decay, etc. So we're going to bolt that Stoneforge Mystic after the Batterskull's been brought in, which is it's an interesting choice to fetch the Batterskull.
Yeah, I mean he knows that there's not going to be any. He may know there's not any wasteland or anything, but the normal swords. Does he run Sword of Feast and Famine in the main? I'd be very tempted to get Feast and Famine.
No, for Fire and Ice.
Oh, okay.
I think I would have got Jitte or Fire and Ice, but I wonder if he's actually got those in hand. Batterskull's tricky because if your Stoneforge gets bolted or Abrupt Decayed or whatever, all things that you totally expect from a Jund deck, then it's gonna sit in your hand for a while before you can play it.
Absolutely. Yeah, I guess if you land it, it's very good, but there's not any reason to think it'll land against 8 or 10 removal spells.
But I'm genuinely wondering if when we saw this doesn't have an Aether Vial keep, and we've seen Thalia Stoneforge, I'm just wondering if he's actually got a piece of equipment in hand.
That's fair. I know that I've done the Stoneforge fake out where you go and get something the opponent's not expecting and then flash something else in, so.
Yeah. Anyway, we've got a Tarmogoyf landed from the Jund side, and Tarmogoyf can do a lot of damage quite quickly. And we've already got creature instant land in the graveyard.
Yep, and it looks like that Thalia's just immediately outclassed here for Jack Decks too.
Yeah.
I feel like not a lot of creatures in the Death and Taxes deck can deal with even a 4 toughness on a Tarmogoyf.
No.
So,
you
swords.
need to just get rid of it.
Yep. Are going to go up to 21 here.
And then back down to 19.
Yep. Need to make sure that Mr. Jack Dex updates his life total there. Argon, I'm sure, is keeping track of it, right? Oh, there we go. Players have figured it out. All right, let's see where they settle. I think that should be that should be 19, right?
He was on 18, so he goes to 21 and takes 2 and is on 19.
Yeah, I do want to clear that because it looks like both sides there have got that wrong.
Yeah. We haven't missed a live game, have we?
Oh, no. Okay, we got it. This is actually the second attack with Thalia, so he was.
He
18.
wasn't. No, well, that's what we did.
That's
we started
true.
him on 18. The phone said 18, and
yeah, it's possible players were catching up on all that math, though. It's possible that they missed a previous swing, and that's actually the third Thalia attack. I'm not sure.
Potentially. Oh, and that's interesting. Thalia is gone, and we have a new Stoneforge.
Okay. Well, there's the backup for the. Did he just fail to find Mr. Jack Dex?
So it appears. I mean, I think that makes my guess that he had the equipments in hand correct then.
Yeah, that means the opener. That means that he's seen 2 different. Okay, there's a GTA. It means that he's had 2 different equipments in his hand as well. It's
Yeah.
unfortunate.
I'm not sure that I would keep Thalia, Stoneforge, 2 equipment. He may have drawn one of the equipment. Swords. Yeah, no, I probably am keeping that.
Yeah, I think it's a little slow for Death and Taxes, but certainly has ways to get there. I mean, I wouldn't have guessed what I was up against necessarily. I'm not great at mind gaming my opponent like that.
Oh no, I don't think. Yeah. Yeah, and I think also if he had a Caracas in hand to protect the Thalia potentially, although it's ended up being tapped at relevant times. Oh no, the Battle School does come in.
So hard cast GTA and then there's a Culligan's command out of Argon.
Ooh.
That's not great. I bet we see creature artifact here.
Yeah, it must be.
Yep. So
Old
just
white.
one lone GTA in play. That's unfortunate. Mr. Jack Deck needs a creature to land and stick for that GTA to do anything.
We've got the vial now.
Oh, you were right. He had all 3.
Yeah.
Unfortunate. But that means whenever he plays his commander, it'll be able to finish the job in just a couple swings, right?
Oh yeah, that commander. And what would your commander of this deck be?
Oh, Isamaru. I mean, Thalia is the correct answer, but I want Isamaru.
Well, actually, interesting. I think it would be Lurrus. I think
that would be very gross.
This is the deck and legacy that would like to have Lurrus still around and can lose its 3 drops and its 4 drops to play Lurrus. And I don't think it would go crazy if it did have that.
Nope, I think Lurrus died for Delver's sins.
Yeah. Well, I think Mr. Jackstex was saying to us earlier that Lurrus, that Death and Taxes is a very bad place in the format at the moment, which potentially means the format is in a bad place. And Death and Taxes has not seen any new cards since Conspiracy Take the Crown.
That's true. I know there was a little bit of Deafening Silence as a sideboard card, but that's certainly not like
sideboard. Yes, from Eldraine. People are
Deafening Silence isn't a reason to.
Oh no, that's a nice play. We get the 2 elementals off the Chandra, and he sacks 1 to Village Rites to draw 2 cards. Yeah, this Jund deck is actually stuffed full of new cards because it's Got 3 village rights from M21.
Yeah, we see several just free 2-for-1s going on here too, because he was able to kill
Yeah.
2 creatures with Colgan's Command, draw 2 cards off that
Yeah.
token,
And Colgan's Command actually is
and
kind of
Colgan's
old
Command.
now, but it feels new to me. The Chandra Acolyte of Flame that he's got on the board now, that's an M20, so that's also pretty new. He's also running Bone Crusher Giant, which is from Eldraine, and we've got a Clothis and a Croxer, both from Theros.
You know, you're right. Other than Punishing Fire and Hymn to Torak, this is just almost modern Jund with better mana.
It is, yeah. Punishing Fire and Hymn to Torak are the only cards that are not legal in Modern. Punishing Fire because you banned Hymn to Torak because it's an old card.
Yeah, I would. I hope we never get Hymn to Torak in Modern. I feel like that would. I don't even play the format much, and I think that'd be miserable.
Yeah, no, I don't think Modern. I don't think Hymn to Torak's ever going to see a reprinting that makes it legal in Modern. I mean, Opt is probably the most recent card that's seen a standard printing, thus making it legal in Modern.
Yeah, I think given the other cantrips in Modern, they only have Serum Visions, right?
Yeah, Serum Visions and Opt has survived and not been banned. You know, it's a sort of slightly weaker than Preordain.
Yeah. Although being instant speed, I imagine helps sometimes. I'm not sure.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
Okay.
It's classic end step play.
Oh. Jack Dex has found Phyrexian Revoker on Chandra, so we'll have something to suit up with all that equipment if it lives.
Yeah, and Phyrexian Revoker with the Sword of Fire and Ice will hit that Chandra completely out of the board, or even no, it's actually I'm not sure which way I'd play. Okay, we're bringing Torch of
Oh,
Defiance.
it doesn't matter. Oh no.
Yeah, oh well. Bye bye, Phyrexian Revoker.
Oh, and bonus Punishing Fire. Okay.
Ouch.
I guess that was for a shock off of the Chandra, right? For Punishing
Yeah.
Fire there. Okay. Oh, never mind. Table Spotter pointed out he plus 1'd it for 2 red to cast the Punishing Fire.
Yeah.
So Chandra just doing everything here.
Yeah, this is the second deck we've seen this in tonight. And it's a very it's probably the strongest Chandra around, with 2+1s either to get you more red mana or to get you an extra card or a shock off the top of the deck. Oh,
So,
and Chandra
emblem.
Acolyte of Flame being emblemed. Ah.
Mr. Jack Dex does not want to even pretend to play this out.
It's not. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
really not happening, is it?
That's brutal. So sideboards for this player, it looks like Mr. Jack Dex is unfortunately behind a game. He'll be on the play. What do you like to bring in here if you are Mr. Jack Dex?
If I'm Mr. Jack Dex, Charles of the Void. Stops Lightning Bolt, which certainly did a lot of harm there. Stops Thought Seeds, which he full well knows is there. Stops Village Rights, which definitely helped in that game.
Yeah, Village Rights.
Pithing Needle, because I think you need. Well, actually, no. Pithing Needle Chalice thing's awkward.
I think you can choose when to cast it.
Yeah, I certainly bring in the Path to Exile. I think one extra creature removal spell is very reasonable here. I don't know. Probably bring in Council's Judgment because it can get the Planeswalkers.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of Council Judgment after board, especially. It's so flexible. It just does whatever you need it to.
Yeah.
Looks like Argon Platypus has got several cards that are maybes for me. I mean, Alpine Moon turns off the Wastelands and Ports, but I don't know if that's what you're worried about.
Potentially, which sometimes you're worried about.
That's true. That's true. Collector Oof hits all the equipment.
Oof.
I like that.
Well, I mean, ouch!
Yeah.
You're screwed, aren't you? Really, with the Collector Oof in play.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a bold sideboard with 4 Plague Engineers, but that's potentially quite strong against Death and Taxes.
Yeah, I mean, it looks like so whenever Plague Trainer first came out, I know that they were on Stepmom for a while because she's a 1/2, but
Yep.
Mr. Jack Jack's on 4 Mother Runes, 4 Thalia that all die instantly to it, as well as
Yeah,
Recruiter of the Guard.
I mean, yeah, there are ranger creatures here, but there's still enough humans that Plague Engineer on humans is very painful. Plague
Yeah.
Engineer, on horror at the right time, will take out Phyrexian Revoker. On Elemental, it can take out Flicker Wisp. It can get most of the deck.
Yeah, I think there's almost no downside to bringing that in. That's just it's every bit about it is upside.
And
Um,
it's a 2/2 body.
yeah, so blocks properly blocks almost everything in that deck, I guess. Other
Does mean
than
there's quite a lot of sideboard cards. If he's bringing in the Alpine Moons, the Collector Eves, and the Plague Engineers, it's eight
yeah,
cards in.
that's what I was curious about the Alpine Moon. I don't know if that's good enough. If you think you're going to lose the game on the port wasteland angle of the deck, um, you mentioned Crocs as well, but I don't know if it's worth it. It replaces itself, but is it worth? Oh, it doesn't replace itself. It's not the other one. Apologies. I'm thinking of Blood Sun that replaces itself.
Yeah, there's so many been variations on these moons, hasn't there?
Yeah. Um, yeah, it's tough to know what he would pull out because I mean, just everything in his deck is good against what Mr. Jacksex is doing.
Yeah.
Clothis is maybe a little bit questionable, but Bone Crusher Giant is gas. I'm not sure if Crocs is what you're doing. I assume that just gets swords or whatever, but yeah,
Yeah.
it's a too many riches there. That's some tough calls.
I mean, you're definitely leaving in the Colgan's command. It does far too much. I think you could actually afford to take out Punishing Fire here. That might be controversial.
Yeah, I've Loam is my current baby as far as decks go, and I've gotten off Punishing Fire there too. I feel like it doesn't do as much as you think it will. When it's good,
Exactly.
it's
If it
takes
if you
over.
get it online turn 1, it's fantastic.
Mhm.
I could see Mr. Jack Dax bringing in his single surgical extraction to deal with the Punishing Fire as well.
Mhm. Yeah, I mean, it also turns off the mode of Colgan command to get a creature back. I guess I don't know how much Argon
How
does that.
often are you going to use that, though?
Yeah, I don't think this is a deck that maximizes that, but
Yeah.
yeah. Speaking of Loam and Double Masters, I'm excited for some of these foil staples and these fancy versions to get reprinted. I'm going
Yeah,
to see if the market falls out on.
you're going to be getting crop rotations?
Yeah, I would love for the market to fall on crop rotations, Dark Confidant. There was it's Liliana wasn't spoiled, right? There's some other card for Loam that I would like.
Yeah. Dark Confident, I strongly have the feeling that one should use the original art for cards that were, done for a person. So Dark
Yeah.
Confident, keep the original art. It's Bob. Meddling Mage, keep the original art. I mean, I
I
know
feel
that
like
they don't reprint them, but I want to own the original.
oh, I'm absolutely the same way. I mean, I know that the Alara Reborn art is popular for Meddling Mage, but again, you know, the invitationals were a neat thing. So I like to preserve that. I'm also, I prefer the originals whenever I can get them anyway. But
Yeah, I mean, my thing actually with spoilers is looking at what cards are being reprinted that people are going to be keen on, and so that sometimes drops the price of buying the older version of those cards.
yeah, sometimes does and sometimes doesn't. I'm hoping that it does. This is the first foil printing of Crop Rotation since Urza's Legacy, though, and so I'm hoping that people get into it. Especially,
One thing I'm looking for is I'm looking out on the prices on Noble Hierarchs because I don't have a full playset and I would like to complete my playset with original Conflux Noble Hierarchs.
oh, absolutely, Noble Hierarch is another one. When I played Infect on stream the other week, I happened to draw my one foil signed Noble Hierarch in two of the three games, and none of the other ones. So one of y'all commented on it, and it tickled me whenever I was like, "Oh, if they only knew."
Yeah, the reason that I only own one Noble Hierarch and not the complete set is because I used to borrow Noble Hierarchs from a friend, and he had one Judge Foil and 3 normals, and I was like, I'll borrow the 3 normals, and I bought my own normal to complete the playset.
Yeah.
I don't like playing with mismatched sets.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't typically either, but sometimes for like iconic old cards like that, I make an exception.
Yeah. So the other thing we've got going on right now on this Discord is we've got the league. We've just had the cut to the quarterfinals. There's very competitive action in the pools, and two of our players tonight were quite near misses in their pools. Argon was one of the near misses. Did you, Yamin Kertik, you've made it through to the quarterfinals, actually winning your league. Was Argon in the same pool as you?
I do not believe so.
Oh, it was
Yeah.
Kylex who was in the same pool as you.
Yeah, kind of like the previous player was in the same pool as me, so we did battle, and he handed me a loss with a similar deck.
Yeah. So that's proven quite popular. We got 24 players this month with very little advertising, announcing it about 2 days before the registration closure because we just really wanted to get the July League out. And actually, the Thursday night mod fight next week should be replaced by the semi-finals and finals of the July League.
Yeah, I'm excited to see the August League because we've had a lot of players on the Discord who have been there for a while, and we have some new players that are. I'm not sure if they didn't see the league when it started or if they were not hyped to join it, but I think they've seen some of the action going on and they're ready to get in on it.
We had 24 players for the league this month. I was hoping for 32, but thought that would be optimistic. But with seeing the number of players who've been like, when does the next league start? I'm optimistic for 32 approximately next month.
Yeah, and that's definitely an idea that scales really easily for us. So they're getting set up for game 2 here, it looks like. Mr. Jackdeck's putting this back for at least one mulligan.
Straight back.
Not even a little bit.
Oh, Charbel on there saying enjoy commentating on Allura next week. Actually, that's a good point. I think I did just see that he has actually won his quarterfinal, so it's not being optimistic. I think he has won his quarterfinal.
Yeah, I've got mine scheduled for my opponent on Sunday, so if with any luck I'll be playing and I won't have to commentate Allurin. I don't think it's that bad. I think people scoop once they see what's going on, but
yeah, it's all open deck lists for the quarterfinals and semi-finals and finals of the league, so it's a little bit of a different play opportunity for players. We run our weekly tournaments, but we don't do our cut to top 8 in those because it would just take far too long. We're thinking about doing a quarterly tournament that does do that.
Yeah, we're haven't discussed the details of that yet, but we're definitely looking at trying to get some big invitational kind of tournament going once a quarter, just for players to feed into there. But I think we're gonna toss that around and figure out how we can make that the most fun for the most players. And I can almost see Mr. Jack Dex's hand there, but let's see if we can get Table Spider to have him pull it back. In the tank about this mulligan.
What Mr. Jack settled on there? Has he settled on 6? He's not put one on the bottom yet. I think he's still thinking.
No, there's still 7 in there. I see it. So already down the game. I mean, you can't really, you can't mold to infinity, but you can't keep a bad hand. So.
Well, I mean that is. I mean, I'm not going to say that's the perfect play because it clearly isn't, but it's certainly a good turn 1 play.
Yep.
It's not as good as against the blue deck.
Nope, and we see that's going to get.
Forge Mystic goes bye-bye.
So his only play is not until turn 3 now, unless he top decks something sooner. Yeah, just passes. And if Argon can get a him or something off here, I think that this he's going to be firmly in the driver's seat. He's not looking bad already, but
yeah, that him would be very painful right now. And it's a Bayou.
No.
Is it the him?
Oh, Collector Oof.
Yeah, well, we also said that would be a strong lock for this deck.
Yeah, and we saw Mr. Jackdex did not have any ways to get rid of it in his hand either. So activating the Ether Vial in response is a little pump fake, but nothing to come in. Recruiter is a guard. He Palace Jailer gets rid of the Collector Oof, but I'm not sure if you go that route here. We know he still has Caracas in hand.
Yeah, I'm not sure what I would get here, honestly.
Mirran
Mirran
Crusader.
Crusader, yeah, I
Yeah.
think that's it. Actually, is a good choice. I'm not running Death and Taxes at the moment. I have played Death and Taxes, and Death and Taxes does actually allow you to get all the cards. I play a deck with Recruiter of the God that you can't quite get all the cards. So I'd forgotten that Mirran Crusader was both in the deck and gettable, but with a Collector Roof on the board, that's a strong card to get.
Yeah, that's a staple of.
Okay, we do have two
Caracas.
Caracases on the board there.
One of those the one from his hand, maybe?
Yeah, I think that's maybe just his hand being visible on the table. Thoughtseize takes Mirran Crusader.
Gotcha.
Well,
Oh, that's a wonderful hit, and that's a terrible hand for him too.
yeah, Caracas. Whew.
Yeah.
And Argon, he's obviously got things in his hand that is allowing him to get basics. There's no wastelands around, but he's protecting himself from them when they come, or if they come.
Yeah.
This,
I mean,
unfortunately, is a bad start.
yeah, 4 cards in hand versus Jack Dex, who has Caracas Unknown.
I mean,
And a Blood
the thing
Braid.
is, I don't think you can fault playing the Recruiter and fetching something. You don't expect them to have another Thoughtseize. Of course,
Oh, absolutely.
it can happen, but I don't think that's something you should be playing around.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, you don't just pass there and do nothing on turn 3, right?
Yeah.
I think top deck
Council
Council Judgment.
Council's Judgment, and it goes for the Tarmogoyf.
So our run's still with 5 power in play, though.
Yeah, there's still a lot of gas there.
Yeah, looks like Jack Dex. Oh, 2 cards in hand for him. Spukak Verdant here. I mean, if Argon has any spell in his hand that has irrelevant text, then I don't know what Jack Deck's gonna do.
Yeah. He needs good top decks here, basically, and that's about the only thing that's going to save him. And I think Council's Judgmenting the Tarmogoyf is exactly the right thing, because the Ether Vial is not that relevant. He doesn't have an equipment. He doesn't have a stone.
Oh my goodness. Number 3.
3, sorry,
so,
yeah. Thoughtseize number 3.
Did he only have Caracas in hand just now?
And yeah, I believe that's all he has in hand is
Caracas.
Okay. And the Recruiter's now gone.
He knew that from a previous Thoughtseize. I'm not sure that I would have fired that off, especially if he only had 1 card in hand. I'm not sure what's up there, but.
He did hit the Council Judgment though.
Oh, was that not the Council Judgment that Mr. Jack Dex cast on the previous turn?
No, I think that was in hand. I think he had 2 Council Judgment in hand.
Interesting. I'm surprised he didn't fire it off on his turn then. Another Chandra, not Torch of Defiance, Acolyte of Flame.
Acolyte of Flame, the one that makes the elementals, and that is a lot of damage.
As the kids these days say.
I mean, he could pull a Cataclysm, but unfortunately, a Cataclysm doesn't destroy the Planeswalker, and the Planeswalker can still make the 2 elementals.
I think
so it's not enough.
Cataclysm kills Planeswalkers, I think, right? Yeah, it's all from among the.
You keep. Yeah. Sorry, you keep and lose. Yeah.
Yeah, those goofly old cards. Wow, that is a clean sweep for the mods this week. That's unfortunate.
That was a fast defeat for Death and Taxes as well. I think he's going to be disappointed with that.
Yeah,
the sideboard cards we saw with the Council's Judgments.